Koholo, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Yahushai, Rachodash. Let the elders that rule well be counted worthy of double honor, especially they who labor in the word and doctrine. To the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. So I was checking my mail today, and and yo, I got some mail today, and yo, this is what came in the motherfucking mail. It says, "Where is the dental card?" Not that I even have one or use one, but it says here starting July 1st, so this shit already done passed. Your dental card will no longer appear on your monthly statement of assistance. Please contact your caseworker to receive a dental card when you need one. But that's not the point. The point is we are going paperless. Starting this summer, if you have a My Benefits account, you will stop receiving the paper statement of assistance, reporting forms, and check inserts in the mail. All right, so we see that even someone that would be, I'm in Canada, but, even someone, I guess you could say in a societal sense, at the very fucking bottom, well, near the bottom, you know, even someone, in society wise at the bottom, they're feeling it too because it says in Revelation, he calls it all both small and great. And we know that um, in Esau's world, they operate the whole pressure from above, pressure from below, because you need your goddamn teeth. You know what I'm saying? And Esau Edom knows this. They have people that study teeth and all sorts of bullshit. So, you know, so a lot of people, to them, they think, oh, that's cool, that's good for the environment, right? And Esau Edom will probably, under deception, say that this is better for the environment. But we know that all roads lead to the RFID microchip, and all facets of life are leading up to the RFID microchip because the spiritual infrastructure is already set. Now it's playing its part out physically. And now, this is coming, is right here, and it's called gradualism. You know what I mean? And just here a little, there a little, but they're on the left-hand side with it. So let's get the scripts. This is Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 13, verse 4. If thou be for his profit, he will use thee. All right, this is talk about the rich man. And the rich man, in today's sense, Job 9 and 24, is Esau Edom, the biblical name of the so-called white man. It says here, if thou be for his profit, he will use thee. And, they show that mentality in movies, right? Where you have an Edomite, and then you have a Jake, and the Edomite so-called helps the Jake, but, behind closed scenes, behind the scenes, the Edomite's talking bare shit about the Israelite, about the Jake. But then to his face, it seems like he's helping him. And in a modern real life sense, it's just like with sports or these rap contracts or whatever, right? It would seem like Esau is helping Jake get out of poverty, but nah, there's just another form of enslavement. And then now they're using you and capitalizing off your likeness to further their agenda. But if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee. Like what happens to an athlete that has a career-ending injury? You never hear about them, even if they did bear work for the team. You know what I'm saying? If an athlete goes against the interests of the corporate entity, then, that athlete or whatever or whoever is going to get forsaken. In modern sense, they even though they somewhat showed you this with Colin Kaepernick when he did the whole kneeling bullshit, which we know was just controlled opposition. But even though he can play, so-called, it's like he hasn't played since. You know what I mean? Because he can't profit. They don't want a political leader. They just want a slave that just shuts up does his time and then gets the fuck out, and then Esau Edom makes money off the jerseys, off the fucking keychains, all that bullshit, right? So it says here, if thou have anything, he will live with thee. Yeah, he will make thee bear and will not be sorry for it. Right, because in a modern sense, Esau Edom is the cause of all these woes, man, because he is the physical embodiment of Satan. You know what I mean? So it would seem like for example, in a modern sense, it would seem like free schooling is a good thing, but then what's the curriculum they teach? It's just pure Satanism. You know what I mean? But then parents, in the world, like carnally, they'll be like, "Oh, this is a great thing," and all that bullshit. Or my tax scholars go to your schooling. It's like, what? So verse 6, Ecclesiasticus chapter 13, verse 6, if he have need of thee, he will deceive thee. All right. And we know that Esau Edom is the ultimate deceiver on the left-hand side. All right. He will deceive thee and smile upon thee. Right. Though he go humbling himself, though he go crouching, beware of them. Right. And also, though his words were smoother than oil, swords were drawn in his heart, roughly paraphrasing those two, right? And put thee in hope, right? That's why they have their false prophets on the left-hand side, you know what I mean? And their lesser luminaries on the left-hand side to so-called give people left-handed false hope, which is just, it's all deception and fake and lies, man. He will speak thee fair and say, what wantest thou? Man, that's like a typical Esau statement, yo. What do you want? What can I do for you? How can I help you? You know what I mean? Verse 7, and he will shame thee by his meats until, right? And what happens when you just have a diet consisting of just bare meat, all you're eating every day, is you start to get sluggish, right? Because you need to put salt in that meat, and you need to season it, and of course you're probably going to complement it with like dainty complimentary shit, you know what I'm saying? So you're gonna get shamed, man, because a gift destroys the heart, you know what I'm saying? And even though you have Jakes that are so-called millionaires that are and that could so-called make a statement on the left-hand side, they don't, because they've been nullified and shamed by Esau Edom's meats, because they've been caught. Esau Edom has information on these people that these people hold in high regard. That would so Esau Edom blackmails them. So it's just a trap, man. Until he have drawn thee dry twice or thrice, man. So you've been you've been ultimately destroyed. It's like you've been shot, you're already fucking dead. And then he goes home, comes back rearmed with bare new weapons, shoots you up again, waits a month later, comes back and shoots up your remains again. And at the last, he will laugh thee to scorn afterward. That's it, yo. And the thing is, that spirit isn't just in Esau, Edom. That spirit's in 2/3 of our nation, right? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Haitians, West Indies, and Israelite foreigners, those that may look like the heathen nations, but go back to the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? 2/3 of our nation, they have that same spirit. That's why they gots to go. All right, so it says here, when he seeth thee, he will forsake thee, he will abandon thee, and shake his head at thee, And this is how now it's switched to, it's applicable to Jake, because they have a terminal SMH or SMFH, right? Right, or you even see it in real life, like something outrageous happen, you'll see Jake just shake their head, or goddamn, you might shake your head, you know what I'm saying? I might shake my head, you know what I'm saying? But in this sense, though, they're shaking their head because they've forsaken thee and they've taken everything they've could from you, and they've abandoned you. All right, so going back to those two things that I showed, it's like a lot of people really rely on assistance. I get my daily bread. I know the Lord will provide, but other people, the people that aren't the elect but are on this shit, like, they have to choose between paying rent and eating a lot of the times. And Esau Edom knows this, but they keep the number. Like, for me, it works because, call halal Yahweh al Shai. But, for other people, all they do is complain. They say it's too low, which I understand, with inflation and whatnot and what have you. But at the same time, man, this man's the fucking devil. Like, how can you expect good from a devil? But that goes back to people being in darkness and thinking that the white man is God and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So verse 8 in Ecclesiasticus chapter 13, verse 8, beware that thou be not deceived and brought down in thy jollity, being jolly and shit. So you just gotta beware, man. You can't be deceived. You gotta be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. You know what I mean? On the right hand side. You know what I mean? And basically going into like, forget all the money bullshit. It's about the fact that things are going paperless. Even from, it all ties into scripture. Both small and great, man. Like, it's beautiful. So this is Proverbs 22:7. This is Malak Shalom speaking, King Solomon. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. Now, in a nation point of view, you see how these nations they bow down to Esau Edom, pretty much. Because they've adopted his beast system, but for their nations. You know what I'm saying? But we're at a tipping point where there's going to be all-out war. But in a sense where it's applicable to, those two pictures I showed where things are going paperless, in that sense, it's like the people that, they're going to be like, okay, sure, like, if things are paperless, like, yeah, whatever, I just want my card, not asking questions, not knowing that it's all leading to the RFID microchip. You know what I mean? Because they're slaves to the lender. You know what I mean? Because ultimately this money just goes back into the so-called economy. You know what I mean? It's not even real money, This is why Esau Edom has to go, man. They're the fucking devil. So this is Proverbs 29:7. The righteous considereth the cause of the poor, but the wicked regardeth not to know it. You know what I mean? It's been the same number for years. Not that I'm advocating for it to change, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, speaking from a point of view from, like someone that would need to survive on this for whatever reason. It's like the numbers remain the same, and it's like Esau Edom knows that the number that they give out isn't a livable wage, but they won't change it. They don't care because they don't regard to care about the things that affect the poor. They only care about, their so-called problems and issues. You know what I'm saying? But what does our law say? Our law says in Deuteronomy 15:11, for the poor shall never cease out of the land. Therefore I command thee, saying, thou shalt open thine hand wide unto thy brother, to thy poor and to thy needy in thy land. Right? But that's for the righteous. But, Esau Edom isn't the righteous, so they're not going to give a shit. So they're trying to make everything paperless and cashless because all roads lead to the RFID microchip. Elder Apostle Tahar of Great Millstone on down been saying this. In a modern sense, who's our brother, who's our sister? Those that do the will of Yahweh Yahushua in truth and sincerity. You know what I mean? And the ultimate way to feed, because we're all technically the poor, starting with the elect, for our nation. But it's like, how do you feed the elect? The best way is through prophecy, through these epistles, through just showing through, through leadership. That's why, in 1 Corinthians 14:40, let everything be done decently in order. We're supposed to have respect for our elders, starting with the elder apostles of Great Millstone on down. So it says here, we're going to punch out with Matthew 5:3. This is Yahushua HaMashiach speaking, the author and finisher of our faith and beyond. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Yo, and the kingdom of heaven, man, is going to be like, you can't even put into words. Like, carnally, anything you see in this world can be put into words, even if you don't have the vocabulary for it. But the kingdom of heaven, like, you can't imagine our whole nation being perfect, all being able to praise Yahweh, our Shai, to the maximum ability of our potential, man. To have the nations in subjection. And it just, I could go on and on and on, but it's like, to have Yahweh Shai HaMashiach be in his splendor, to have Yahweh our Shai be in their splendor, you know what I'm saying? It's like, wow. So, we're going to continue to see things like this. Like, next week, it might be some next bullshit. Like, who knows? But we got to just keep reporting on this stuff because we keep getting closer to Yahweh Shai HaMashiach's triumphant return. So with that, I hope you all were edified. Shalom.